Today I'm going to be taking you guys through my push day and going to be doing a bit of commentary on how I'm training, why I'm training the way I am, and how I've managed to grow my chest. Like, probably, I mean, I don't know, I don't measure my arms and chest and shit, but I'm just gonna say I grew my chest a significant amount over the past year or two. And I'm gonna give you a few tips on how I managed to bring my chest up, as well as start evening out more of my physique. Today is my second push day of the week. I pretty much do a push, pull, legs, push, pull. I only train legs once a week right now, really focusing on the hamstrings to get a better, fuller appearance in my side chest. And I'm going to be taking you into my second push day of the week. This is typically a faster push day than my first push day of the week, but this is more about intensity, pump, feeling good. So I just want to give a big shout out to Rise. They are a clothing company that I've been working with for several months now. They have some really awesome lines and more stuff coming out over the course of the summer. This woman got in her car and I guess doesn't know how to shut off the alarm. So, okay, cool. Yeah, so Rise I've been working with for several months. They have some really cool stuff. I'm currently wearing their performance t-shirt right now. This is a very light, stretchy compression feel to it. I don't know if you can see, but there's all these little, what are they called, perforations, little tiny like micro holes all throughout the shirt, so it's not as stuffy as like some other compression shirts might be, and you don't feel like super wet and gross if you tend to sweat a lot throughout your workouts. But aside from this shirt, they have a ton of different styles, so I definitely recommend you guys check out Rise. The link is in the bio. Code Qwin. I'm literally just about to finish my pre-workout today. I'm using Gorilla Mind's Respawn with a little bit of nitric and glycerol. So we should get a pretty good pump out of this. I just had my pre-workout meal about almost 2 hours, an hour and a half ago, something like that. And I'm like starting to feel the pre really kick in. So I'm gonna take the rest of this, and we're gonna go hit a push day. All right, so just to start out here, I would like to say that all my movements I warm up to prior. So I'll do like a light set for about 10 for 1 or 2 sets just to get a feel for it before I start going heavy. But regardless, even my first working set, I kind of like keep it on the reserve just a bit, and then kind of go for a couple big top sets. If I feel like I didn't put in enough energy on a set, I'll just typically count it as a warm-up and then continue to add weight until it feels like an adequate amount of effort. So you'll see that set right there was kind of like my last warm-up set. I would not consider that to be like any working set. So yeah, going forward, I added weight here, did a little prayer. You'll see the difference here in pacing and in control. I'm really just trying to emphasize on getting as much blood into my upper chest as possible. I'm trying to remember to keep my back, my lower back, placed into the bench. And just really focusing on that squeeze and that contraction. I don't like to go to like failure on dumbbells, just for the fact that it's kind of sketchy, especially when you don't have a spot, you don't have someone to look for you, and make sure you don't drop that shit or tear something or just hurt yourself, whatever. So I prefer to use machines, things like these, where it's just, safer. I know it's a controlled range of motion, but you don't need to stabilize often in your workouts. And if anything, unnecessary stabilization can kind of hinder how hard you can push in a workout. So you'll see I think this is a incline. Yeah, this is another incline movement. I believe this was actually taken, and that's why I was using dumbbells, if I remember correctly. So got on this, you'll see very smooth pacing, not trying to go too deep. I'm just going deep enough to where I feel that stretch in my upper chest, really trying to keep pacing together. I'm not trying to bounce out of the bottom. I'm not like using momentum. You'll see shit starts to get hard, and I'm really trying to push through it here. And that's all I can really pull off. I don't want to really go incredibly hard on the first couple of movements because I'm still developing a pump here. But you'll notice as we get progressively deeper into these workouts, I'll start pushing harder and harder. The goal of that is to just get as much blood flow into the chest, and you're pretty much safer to push harder when you have more blood flow and things are a little, warmed up. This is also a great chest press machine. I believe I may have been going a little too deep on those first couple of reps, and it just didn't feel right. So I try again to not go so deep to where like my shoulders are overtaking, but just deep enough to where I get a good stretch in my chest. And you'll see in this set, I keep my feet up on the bench to help like minimize my lower back from arching, because that's like a huge tendency from powerlifting. Although a little arch is fine, I just feel like the feet up kind of just helps staple that into my mind so I don't get carried away. And it also takes away a bit of leg drive. Sometimes you'll unintentionally do that. I wouldn't recommend everyone putting your feet up though, honestly, because it does take away some bit of stability, and that can be, again, like I said, a hindrance to gains. These are a new lateral raise movement. I have some issues with my front delt on my left side. It feels weird. I think I tore something when I was really young, and it just like recovered weird. But so front delt movements don't feel great for me, and this still involves a lot of the lateral delts, but I do feel a good contraction in my front delts without this like really like bothering me or showing like weakness. So I really like this. This is a new movement Kyle, my coach, showed me, and really appreciate that. I'm gonna definitely keep that in the arsenal from here on out. So you'll see I'm just warming up on close grip bench press. I could have gone a little bit closer, but I don't want to like put unnecessary stress on my triceps. I try to keep my my forearms perpendicular with the ground so that it's just an even pressing motion. There's no uncomfortable pressure on the elbow. I remember I used to do a lot of skull crushers and close grip bench press super close together, and I would just have elbow tendon. Like I couldn't play 15 minutes of tossing the football around without my elbow like burning up on me. And also take note here that I am not using any leg drive. You can actually see my legs are pretty just relaxed here. Like there's a slight tension at the beginning of the press, and that's just kind of instinct, but I'm not using any leg drive. Overhead shoulder press. For this angle, I think my camera was tilted, because if I'm looking at the bottom of the seat, it doesn't seem, or bottom of the frame, it doesn't seem straight, but it looks like I'm benching sideways, so I can't really tell, but it didn't feel like that, but it may look like that in this clip. But I don't like to go really heavy on overhead presses, just for, again, my left shoulder. Something is just different or up with it. I feel like not weakness, but instability sometimes. Like it's not bad. It's not like hindering me, but I do stay away from overhead shoulder press for that reason. But again, overhead shoulder press is a great front delt grower, and it's fairly stable. I would definitely recommend using machines, but a lot of these machines were taken. You'll see here another chest press machine. So by this point, I'm pretty warmed up. Got my shoulders a bit warmed up with that last exercise, and chest is definitely warmed up. So now I'm really trying to push it hard on the flat press here. Okay, so you see how I lifted my body up a little bit. I'm trying to get my arms in a better position where I don't feel like I'm flaring my elbows too much. This machine is a little bit odd, but it's not bad. Really, I'm just trying to solely focus on targeting my chest here and really just engaging and like contracting and purely moving this weight with my chest. And that was like the biggest issue with my training previously. Like reason why I didn't have a solid chest. I was a little disappointed with that set there. So you'll see me crank this one out a little harder. But the big reason why I was so like disappointed with my chest growth and whatnot is, one, I do have a very wide chest. I have a broad rib cage, broad shoulders. So there's just a lot of like room on my chest for it to grow. And on top of that, my shoulders would overtake a lot, or I would try to compensate on pressing movements by involving my shoulders more. Hence my shoulders growing very well. I would say they're genetic strong point, but at the same time, I wasn't training with pure intention on getting the chest to interact. If I was struggling, I would involve other muscles. This is what I'm talking about. Hitting sets like here when I wanted to fail, but I just literally keep going. I'm literally fucking like at this point, like I have no right there when my whole body starts spasming and I start giving out. But biggest tips I could say for growing your chest would be to take into consideration how you're training, how you're lifting,
like what you're doing and what your goals are. If you're a power lifter, your goal is to make a heavyweight as light as possible, and vice versa. As a bodybuilder, your goal is to make a lightweight as heavy as possible, and to make it heavier is to catch yourself when you're cheating or when you're trying to chip the weight up. Now you have to like completely dissolve that ego of lifting heavy and use some light ass weights and really focus on getting a contraction in the target muscle group. Then once you get that contraction in the target muscle group, once you start feeling that, then you can progressively add weight as you're capable of going heavier and heavier. And I promise you, the weight jumps are not going to be fast. It's not going to just be like, holy crap, you can only get as strong as the muscle grows, and that takes time. But weight jumps will inevitably happen, and you can't just train with lightweight going very slow pace. Like, I'm not intentionally going slow. I'm slowing down my rep pace to ensure that the muscle I'm trying to work is getting worked efficiently. And this is a skill in itself. The better you get at getting that contraction, the easier it's going to get, the more weight you'll be able to use. As you grow, the more weight you'll be able to use. But it doesn't happen overnight. That's all for the video, guys. I really hope this helped out, and let me know what you think and if I could have included anything more. And remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.